All good. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Where were we? We were at 26. Yeah. One thing before we begin, Syed. The whole idea of typography, right? What we are doing is not a nutrition label. I mean, although we are doing nutrition label with all of these things displayed, the word typography is all the different things. I also don't know how to explain it. It's basically all those fonts, style and appearance of printed matter, right? So it is all the types of headings, paragraphs, quotes, all the different sizes of fonts and strengths and different styles that you can put, right? So that is essentially what your typography is. So if you look at typography, generally when you write your CSS, this one's typography, let us say CSS. It is all this, all the headings that you're seeing, right? Now basically, now if you look at your card, forget all the CSS, it's different types of fonts, right? This is a different type of heading, etc, etc. So the focus is on these kind of things. All the different stuff that you have.
Use as attribute to make it bold, nutrition, fact, make it bold.
What have we used?
In CSS.
See in styles. We
Not
gave
font
it
size, not font size.
See margin, not font size, font weight.
Font weight, okay.
So font weight, now this is bold, right?
Yeah.
The default value is, I think, 400 or 500. 400, I think. This is the normal text. Okay. So when you have, let us say, for example, Google fonts, you open this. Google has a ton of fonts that you can just put a. See this link.
You just copy it.
Yeah. If I put this link and if I just copy this thing along this URL and paste it, I can use the font. Okay.
Yeah.
In my HTML, I have to put this, and in my CSS, where I have font family, right, I have to mention its name. Okay. So in this, let us say you pick up this one. You see the default is 400. These are all the different types of fonts that you get. No, in Word, let us say it will show you like this different styles, and you can choose one, right?
You can choose one.
So one is straight and one is italic.
Italic. Yeah.
Okay. This is so it starts from 100. It goes all the way to 900, which is the thickest.
900.
So to make something look like a heading, it has to, size should be bigger and font weight should be whatever, higher.
Okay.
The default value is 400. This. So if you just put the font and if you don't mention anything, if we make this inherit, which is whatever, the normal, it is the same thing.
Same thing.
400.
Yeah.
Right. And if you put 100, it will be super thin. I don't know if this has. I don't think it supports 100. Maybe it supports 200. I don't know. This font probably does not support 900.
Maybe only 400.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Something like that. Okay. So if you look at we are looking at different
Or should you start?
This ones. Yeah. This is not one. You see, all of the styles that these guys will define. In typography, you'll have all the types of texts, all the type of alignments, all the things that you can use. Okay. Yeah. So this is essentially what we are trying to define. So this framework comes with this stuff, right? Okay. So if you look at bootstrap typography, let us say, look at this. What all do they give you? All these types of headings. These are display headings where you can get bigger font size, and lead text. This also they're defining they're writing the CSS for this. So if you give class lead, it will display like this with this spacing. All of the types of fonts, all of this they write CSS for, and they give this as a framework, right? Yeah. Alignment, this quote, text center, block quote, all of this you can write by yourself. Okay, so let's get started. Start our 40-minute thing. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry when I touch you, yeah, because
no problem. It's all good. The position is a little awkward. Yeah. Okay. Create a new div element below your header element and give it a class attribute. Set it to divider. Attribute set to divider LG. What do you think that LG is, Syed?
Sorry. So create a new div claim below your header.
And give it a class.
Give it class attribute set to divider
Space LG.
space LG.
What do you think LG is? Large.
Okay.
So the idea is to give, you had the different thickness dividers, right?
Yeah.
Large, medium, small. So maybe we will write the CSS to make those like that.
This.
So a divider will probably give a background color. Think if you had to make the divider, right? You would give it a black background and you would give it different heights or thickness to get different thickness of whatever lines.
Yeah.
Right? You should create a new div element. Correct.
Closing tag.
Oh, sorry.
Closing tag.
Yeah, div.
No,
oh, yeah, sorry. Create a new .lg selector and give it a height property 10 pixels. Also create a .lg, .md selector and set the background color to black. .lg will be large, and when we put a comma and a space, it means the same rules apply to both the elements.
Also elements,
it's not child or whatever, subchild, not things like that. No. It's applicable to both. To LG and to MD, we are going to give background color black. Okay, so we have that come up on the screen. Correct?
Yeah.
Now you may notice that there is still a small border at the bottom of your LG element. To reset this, give your .lg.md selector a border property set to 0.
Nothing changed.
I also didn't notice anything. I don't notice any change, Syed.
Let's move on.
Create a new div element below your .lg element and give it a class attribute of calories info. Copied calories info. Div class equal to calories info. Okay. I'm in 30. Within your calories info element, create a paragraph element. Create a paragraph element and give that paragraph element a class attribute. Class equal to bold space sm dash text. Bold and small text. Then the text amount per serving. Amount per serving. All good.
That's another paragraph or what?
No.
Amount per serving.
Inside the paragraph. The text of the paragraph is amount per serving.
I forgot, yeah.
All good.
Yeah. 31.
The rem unit stands for root, and root is for root space m, which is relative to the font size of the HTML. I showed you what rem is, right?
Yeah.
The base element and then it multiplies.
Yeah.
It's whatever multiply. Create a .sm-text selector with the font size of 0.05 rem. .sm-text and make its font size. The font size will be basically 0.85% of whatever the base
size of
M element is. Yeah. Base size element is.
Oh, why is this big?
0.85. Did you give 85? Right. What does yours look like?
That's true. I get 85.
Right. Which would calculate to be roughly 13.6 pixels. Remember that you set your HTML to have a font size of 16 ml. 16 pixel.
Yeah.
Submit and go. Below your .sm-text element, create a new h1 element. We need a new h1 element with the text calories. CALORIES 230. Wrap the 230 portion of the text in a span element. The 230 should be inside a span. Open a span, close a span. Span element with the class set to right. The span's class equal to right. So basically you are putting a h1 with calories, and span you're giving it a class. So that text you can control however you want.
I didn't know that, bro.
What?
So even only you apply class to the right, so it will split it up.
Yeah, but that right, I think this is stuck. Where is it? Remember, you put this right here and you put float right.
Right, yeah.
That is what is being applied there. That's the class name, right? It's not magical. You wrote it.
We did it yesterday.
So now think of in one day break you have forgotten what you are. No. I'm not trying to point fingers at you. All I'm saying is when you're doing a project, say for example, now we are just doing with 2 files, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to design a web. Now you know HTML and you know CSS as well.
Yeah.
And you know how to design HTML pages. Now if you have to design a 4-page, 5-page corporate website, say for example, a home page, contact page, whatever, about page and something. A basic website with 4 pages, right? And obviously it is going to take a little bit of time, right? You write a bunch of HTML, a bunch of CSS, whatnot.
Yeah.
So if your project takes, let us say, 4 days, and you have spent those all 4 days working, obviously it will be hard for you to remember what you wrote on the first day.
Yes.
It's a normal work related thing.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is if you immerse yourself in it also, there'll be so much of stuff happening, you will forget it. So now in one day, whatever you are forgetting, right?
Yeah.
So technically either in your work related stuff, what you can do is you can probably work on one component and finish a bunch of stuff related to one thing and finish it.
Yeah.
Right. So that everything is little more fresh in your mind. Right. Or extend the amount of times whatever you're working on that thing. Right. So anyway, we have the class right with float right, and we didn't write anything for left because we didn't need left. We just needed to push this on the right. Okay. Create a new this selector, calories info, and inside that space h1 means an h1 inside calories info class. Correct?
Yeah.
And set the bottom and top margin to, so margin colon, first number is top and bottom, right? -5 pixel, and second number is -2 pixels.
-5 pixel. What is that? Is it
margin?
Margin, okay.
It just
minus. First one is -5 pixel.
Yeah.
And the second one?
-2 pixel. So what is happening over here is you have this, right? This is where your border ends and this is where your margin is at.
Yeah.
So now when if this is your content and this is your margin, and this is the space between this and this, right? What it basically did was, if you gave 5 pixel margin, this border moves to the inside.
Okay.
Correct? Because margin is on all sides like that, right?
Yeah.
But if you give negative, it will pull the border out, right?
I see. Yeah.
So what they're trying to do is make the content a little wider than the place it has. Negative, if you're giving it, it's just going on the opposite side. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So similarly, if you give, say for example, no. Anyway, you just understand the concept, right?
Yeah.
calories info span, create a dot calories info and span selector and set the font size to 1.2. So 1.2 makes it 120%.
120%.
The larger font size of the number 230 is causing it to overflow. 230 is coming out, right?
Yeah.
Give the calories info h1 and overflow property set to hidden to avoid this. Okay.
Typography is often more art than science.
1 minute, sir. Okay. Fine. Anyway. Typography is often more art than science. You may have to tweak things like alignment until it looks correct. Give your calories info span selector a margin top set to -7 pixels. So if you set margin dash top of 7 pixels plus 7,
Yeah.
it goes down, right?
Yeah.
It adds margin on the top. If it is 0, this is its normal position, right? If I make it
Minus
15, it goes down, and -15 from that 0 position it goes up, right? If you make it -25, obviously it will go till whatever it is hidden, and that hidden happens here, overflow hidden. If I remove this, so it is hiding whatever is going outside the div. Okay, that is what it is doing. What do we need to do? -7 pixels. This will shift your 230 text into place. Fine. Below our calories info element, add a div. With the text, with the class set to
divider
medium. Okay. Where is that medium? We did not write anything for medium, right?
Not yet.
We only have large, which we gave 10 pixels.
Yeah.
We can just put .md height 5 pixels. And we got that background. And that background is set in the .lg, .md.
Yeah.
Background black, border 0. Create a new div element below your medium element. Below my, give it a class. Set to daily value and SM text. Daily value with small text. Within this div, add a paragraph element with the text percentage daily value star. Add a paragraph.
Inside the div.
Inside the div, yes. And set the class attribute to right and bold. Right will push it to the right. Bold will make it bold.
Class equals to right bold.
But why did this guy go out of the box? How does yours look?
Same, right?
Yeah, but the float style is causing the new paragraph element to be outside the label's border. Float styling. Okay, fine. Use your existing dot divider element as an example to add a new divider after the paragraph element. What do we have to do? Okay, I have to add a div class equals divider.
We already class divider we have. No. We don't have.
New paragraph element to be outside of the label's border. Use your existing divider element as an example to add a new divider after the paragraph element. Correct. If you remove this.
What should they do?
I think you just have to... No, not MD, just divider. Yeah. Give the divider selector a clear property set to right. I don't know what is happening now. I'm a little confused. Clear set to right. Okay. This will clear the float property, pushing the divider and any following content below the float text.
That's a bit confusing, no?
Yeah. CSS.
Here. Attributes.
One minute. Clear right. Clear attribute. Example, the paragraph element is pushed below the left floated elements. The paragraph element do not allow floating elements to the left side. Okay. You have a paragraph. Fine. This is your paragraph. And this is your image. Remove the clear class to see the effect. Okay. Okay, fine.
It doesn't mean that one.
One minute, I'll explain what is happening here, okay? When you added paragraph class equals clear, the CSS that was added was clear left. What did we write now? Clear right we wrote, okay?
Yeah.
Divider. And divider comes where? Where does divider come? This is divider.
Yeah.
Okay, and it said clear anything that comes to the right of it. I don't know how to explain it to. So what happened when we wrote this, no Sayed? We wrote...
It's something related to float.
Yeah, when we did float, it floated it to the right. It moved the thing to the right. This percentage daily value, you did float right, no? When you have this right wala CSS, where is right? Float right.
Yeah.
It basically pushed that text to the right.
Check yourself that one. Okay.
Okay. But you see the divider is still there, no? And now I remove this clear right. If you only had, if you didn't have the float, now look at the HTML. In the HTML, you have the daily value, which is the paragraph. Okay. Below that, you have the divider line, this small line here. You see the small line right here, right?
Yeah.
I'll make this color red actually for
That's
this.
class. Never been. It's not about that line.
One minute. So you see this line coming after percentage daily value, correct?
Yeah.
That is how we have written. We see the daily value. After that we have divider. Okay.
Yeah.
Now to make this, we want to align this to the right. In order to make it align to the right, we used float. Okay.
Right.
But what float does is, this is the flow of text, right? One element, then the next element, then the next element. Once you put a float into anything, that goes out of that flow. It has its own way of whatever aligning itself. It will come outside that box. Okay. So when you put float right, this guy floated to the right, but it sort of lost its place, right? This guy should, I mean, the line should come above the divider. Why did the divider come up? Right. So when you put float, it goes out of the flow of elements. As soon as you give the property float. Okay. And in order to compensate for that, we are giving clear. What clear does is, now if you don't have clear left, this is the normal thing without using clear. Right now you have this text. Okay. You have this image, and after that you have this text. So the image comes and then all of this text comes.
Yeah.
Okay. And because we have done float left, you are floating this. So out of the flow of things, now if I remove this float, how do I'll delete this. Now, if no float is applied, what happens? The image comes, the image displays, display block. Okay. And after that the next element comes. Correct? The next two elements come after that. First element, second element, third element.
Yeah.
Now when you add this float left, let us say we'll do this float right. If you do this float right, what will happen? This image will float to the right. But out of the flow of elements, first element, second element, third element, we'll also remove this. We'll copy this. I'll put 2 paragraphs above this. 2 paragraphs above this, and you run this. Now what happened? First element, second element, this element, next element, next element. This is normal. No confusion here.
Yeah.
Now I want to make this guy go to the right. So I'll do float right. Then what are you expecting? First element, second element, this guy here to the right. Then third element, fourth element. You expect this whole space to be there, right?
Yeah.
That is what you are expecting.
Yeah.
Let us see what will happen now. If we do float colon right,
Yeah.
it lost its place, right? And it went somewhere else. If I do float left, it floated left. So you see the starting point, first element, second element, third element started here. So at the start point, it floated to the left. And at the start point, it floated to the right. It lost its place, but in that sequence, it was there. Correct?
Yeah.
So imagine before flex. Now with flex, you know how to do alignment, right?
Yeah.
So before flex, when flex was, it's relatively recent. Probably 6 years, 7 years ago, it was introduced.
Oh.
Before that, people used to struggle with this float. Okay. So now in order for you to whatever solve that thing, float left you do. And then you give this clear. Then it sort of gets its place back.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't get confused so much. This is just doing whatever CSS is supposed to do,
Okay.
right? It's just that you might probably not end up using all of this a lot once you get flex and CSS. So don't stress about it.
Okay.
Okay. After your last dot divider element, create a paragraph element and give it the total. After the last divider, create a paragraph. Okay. And give it the text. I'll copy this text. Total fat 8 grams. And the total fat should be inside a span element. Total fat inside a span. Total fat in a span element with the class set to bold. Okay. Wrap the 10% in another span element. 10% in another span element. And give it a class set to bold right. Bold space right. Done. The paragraph element should have two span classes. Should have two span elements. Span. Close this span. Did you get it, Syed?
No, not yet.
Are you stuck somewhere?
Class equal bold right.
Below the element with the total fat text, create a new paragraph element with the text saturated. Wrap 5%. Right. I am going to copy the line above, Syed. The whole paragraph.
Okay.
And just put it here and change the text. Okay. And just check that it matches. Below the element, create a new paragraph element with the text saturated fat 1 gram. I'll replace total fat with saturated fat and wrap the 5%, 8 gram, 5%. Change the 10% to 5% and set that to bold right. Same thing. We have a new row. Your paragraph element should have the text saturated fat. Correct. %5% in a span. Okay. There is no bold around saturated fat. There is no span.
Okay.
Saturated fat 1 gram. Done. You okay?
Yeah.
The new paragraph element will need to be indented. Give it a class set to indent. Paragraph class equal to indent. Create a new dot indent selector and give it a margin left property. Create a new dot indent class. Set it margin dash left colon 1 m. Margin left set to 16 pixels basically.
Sure.
Create a dot daily value and then paragraph selector. Dot daily value and paragraph to target all your paragraph elements in the daily value section. Give this new selector a border bottom. Border bottom set to 1 pixel. 1 pixel. Solid hash 888989. Okay. I don't see any border though.
Me neither. The bottom borders.
Yeah, I saw it. It's below the percentage daily value. See? A small line.
Yeah. And a lot of can't see it, no. Very small.
We can see it here, Syed.
Yeah, I see it now.
Small one. Right. The border bottoms under your percentage daily value and star and saturated fat 1 gram 5% elements do not extend the full width of the label. Add no divider to the class for these two elements.
Two elements.
Which one?
Daily.
Yeah.
Unsaturated.
Yeah.
But I didn't get what they mean. Add no divider to the class for these two elements.
Yeah. For do you see there is a border here as well as below saturated grams. Saturated fat also has a border, right?
Yeah.
And where else is it?
Daily value.
1 minute. Percentage daily value, okay. And saturated fat. 1 minute. I think they're adding a certain class here so that no border is added. For anything with no border, they probably don't want to show it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us see where they're going with this. Okay. So see here, Syed. You see total fat 8 grams.
Yeah.
And you see the line under it, right?
Yeah.
And I think inside that, if we go back here, let me just make a copy of this. This saturated fat is there, right?
Yeah.
I'll copy this. I'm pasting 3 of these. You see the saturated fat also has a line under it, correct?
Yeah.
Total fat has a line under it.
Yeah.
Saturated fat also has under it.
Yeah.
And this daily value thing what you have, right? Let me make again 2-3 of these. Just to make it clear. You see the line under it?
Yeah.
Now we will go to our design. We don't want a line under that section. Open the first one. You see this? You want it to go for the whole length.
Yeah.
For daily value also you want it to go for the whole length.
Yeah.
Right. Or for daily value you don't want it.
True.
Okay. So depending on what we are doing, we are probably writing the style to make it disappear. Okay. So let's just see what they're asking off of us. And then let us see what the end result will be. Okay. That is where we were at. Now we need to add for saturated fat line. Yeah. This is where we were at. We need to add the class no divider. Indent no divider. And for percentage.
That's only
what?
Okay, 2p, yeah? First one, right bold.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah.
Right bold. Space. No divider.
Yeah.
Second one, indent.
Space no divider.
Okay.
Okay. And here you see the not pseudo class. I think we've used this earlier, right?
Yeah.
The not pseudo selector can be used to select all elements that do not match the given CSS rule. Div : not and whatever hash example is whatever the selector rule. Yeah. The above selects all div elements without an ID of example. Modify your daily value p selector to exclude the no divider elements. Daily value dash p, space p : not and dot no dash divider. You got it?
Yeah.
You will now have to add separate dividers below your no divider element. Your first no divider element has a dot divider after it. Create another divider after your second no divider element. I'll just copy line 25. Whenever my laptop starts working. So now we're manually giving it a divider.
Yeah. So create another divider after your second.
Yeah, just create another div class divider after
second no divider.
Yeah. So after line 27, I'm just going to paste this. Dude, I think I'll just reload the page, man.
After your last divider, create another divider.
You got what we're doing, no?
Yeah.
Done?
It's done, yeah.
After your last divider, create another paragraph element with the text trans fat 0 gram. Italicize the word trans by wrapping it in an I. Give the new paragraph element class element set to indent no divider. Instead of copying this, because this is a little different from the previous, I'll just write it up. Create another paragraph element with the text that paragraph element /p with the text trans fat 0 gram. Text trans fat 0 gram. Italicize the word trans by wrapping it in an I element. I element trans I element. Give the new paragraph element a class attribute of indent. Class equals indent space no dash divider. Create a new paragraph element at the end of your daily value SM. Yeah, I did create a new paragraph. Did you get it?
Yeah, you're right.
You got it?
Yeah. Same thing. I think you need only space or something like that. For refresh or I don't know.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me read it off. After your last divider element, create another paragraph element with the text trans fat 0 gram. Trans fat 0 gram. Italicize the word trans by wrapping it in an I element. I element. Oh, I have to close the I element. Of course. I didn't close it too. This is like the third time it has happened today. Create another divider after your last paragraph element. I'll just copy 28 and paste it down. Shift Alt down, Alt down. You're on 52?
Oh. So Shift Alt down.
Alt down.
Okay.
After your dot divider, create a new paragraph element with the text. This. Copying the text. Creating a paragraph. Okay. Wrap the text cholesterol in a span element. Span. Closing the span. And give that span element the class attribute set to bold. Give that span a class attribute set to bold. Wrap the text 0% in another span element. 0% in another span element. Close the span. Okay. And give class set to bold right. Class equal to bold space right.
And the first span, what is it?
I went to the next this one side. First one is no, nothing for the paragraph, I think.
Cholesterol.
For cholesterol it is bold. Class equals bold.
Okay, yeah. 53. How many course do we have? How many chapter in this one? 53 we are now.
We're almost 1 minute is left on our 40.
Okay.
And
53.
66.
Okay, we'll finish straight, yeah? We won't stop, yeah?
Okay. Below a paragraph element, create another paragraph element with the text.
Sodium.
Wrap the sodium with the class set to bold. 1 minute. I am just going to duplicate line 31.
Okay.
Okay. Change cholesterol to sodium. 160 milligrams. 160 milligrams and 7%.
160 milligram and 7%.
Yeah. 54. Add total carbohydrates. Then use the text. Like before, use the span element to make the text total carbohydrates bold. Bold and italic. Again, duplicate that line. Duplicating line 32. Whoops.
Bro, it's not working. Mine.
Why?
Your first span element should wrap the text sodium. Oh yeah, sorry. It's my bad.
Span element. Yeah, that's correct, no?
That's correct. Why?
Do you have...
This paragraph. Span. Class bold, yeah? Only bold.
Yeah.
Sodium. Span 160.
We add the space again. Just copy and paste the line again, Syed. Just cut this, cut the whole, remove the whole, delete the 32 thing, just paste the line from above again. Okay. Change cholesterol to sodium.
Okay.
What is it? 160? 7%. You had a space after your sodium that time. 54. Add another paragraph element with the text total carbohydrate 37%, same like before. Just duplicate the line again.
And then
Change sodium to total carbohydrate, TOTAL, CARBOHYDRATE, total carbohydrate. 37 gram, 13%. 37 grams, 13%.
160 milligram hits.
Sorry?
Should I leave 160 milligram or not?
No, change it. See, above it is 37 grams.
37 grams.
Yeah.
And
13%.
13%.
Right? We're adding all the... We wrote the style once, right?
Consents, yeah.
Yeah, and we have this italic here. We have this whatever sub-element here. So as and when required, we write the style once and then reuse it. However, below your last paragraph element, add another paragraph element with the text dietary paragraph. To indent it and remove the binding border. So I'm going to copy line 27, which is saturated fat line.
And
I want to change saturated fat, that one, to dietary fiber. New paragraph and div element. Okay, something wrong there, Syed. I'm going to undo that. Saturated fat, trans fat. No. What did it say? Give the... Below the last paragraph, add another paragraph element with this text. Fine. Just do what you say. Paragraph element with this text. And then give the paragraph element the class necessary to indent it. And remove the dividing border. Class indent and this thing. Fine. Class indent, no divider. Okay. Then create a divider below the paragraph element. Then create a divider. Okay, so we need that div class divider, line 30, below this. Wait. Why are you putting dot there, Syed?
so
Dietary spelling is wrong. D-I-E-T. D-I-E-T-A. T-A-R-Y. Capital F. Give it a class indent space no divider. no dash divider.
Okay.
Below this, copy line 28. Yeah, that's it. Create another paragraph element after your last divider and give it the text total sugars 12 grams. Assign that paragraph element class values necessary to indent it and remove the border bottom. Okay, then create another divider below your paragraph element. I am going to copy 3435, duplicate it below, change dietary fiber thing to total sugars. Okay.
That's it?
Yep.
I've done everything from there.
Space. Duplicate that line. 57. The advantage of creating these dividers is that you can apply specific classes to style them individually. Add dbl-indent to the class for your last divider. Divider space dbl-divider. dbl-indent. Double indent. Submit and go. Create a double indent class selector and give it a left margin of 2m. Fine. Double indent, left margin 2m.
Margin left or left margin?
Margin left.
Okay. 2 in m.
Yeah. Below your double indent element, add a new paragraph element with the text includes this. Fine. Copy this whole thing. Copy the text, add the paragraph. Includes 10 gram added sugar. Includes 10 gram added sugar 20%. Add your new paragraph element should also be double indented and have no bottom border. Double indented and no border. Divider double indent. I'll copy the whole class for the paragraph.
Indent, no divider, yeah?
Yeah. No, not indent, no divider. Copy the class for divider double indent.
Divider double indent.
Okay.
And put it inside paragraph.
Put it for paragraph, yes.
So the class
should also have double indent and no border bottom. So no border is divider. No, it only needs double indent, I think, Syed. No divider, only double indent, and
this is span to make the 20% bold.
One minute. The paragraph should also be double indented, fine, and have no bottom border. What is the class for no bottom border? No bottom border is no divider, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Double indent. They can just tell what it is. Instead of us, this feels more like, an English essay about
Not
reading.
How to understand the English.
Yeah, like I'm spending more time trying to understand what they are saying. Double indent, no divider. Right, double indent. Your new paragraph element should also have double indent and no bottom border. Use the span to make the 20% bold and right aligned. Where is the span? Span class equals right bold. Class 20%, right? Actually, I can copy the whole thing. 20% here. Close the span. Okay, you should create a new paragraph element and div element. Okay, do we need a border at the bottom of it? Then create a divider. Fine. Divider is not double indented, no? Divider is not double indented, no, Syed?
No.
Create a new paragraph and div element at the end of your this one. Create a divider after that. Okay, paragraph.
Which one you are in? 60
I'm in
or
59, dude. I don't know what
Show me.
59's problem is.
Show me. Class DDL index no divider. That's you. Okay.
Includes 10 gram added sugar, fine. Span class right bold.
Yeah, that's you.
Close the span, close the paragraph. Paragraph open, paragraph close.
You have problem with
Oh,
divider.
why is this div here? Why is that div here?
Oh, that goes down, bro. Below. Why did they delete it?
Oh, okay.
That goes down.
I'm wondering. Okay, got it. Done. After the last divider, create another paragraph element with the text protein 3 grams. Use the necessary classes to remove border bottom and a span to make protein bold. Span to make protein bold.
So span, it comes with class bold equal bold, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Paragraph with the text protein 3 grams. Protein 3 grams. Fine.
Why always you
Use the necessary classes to remove the bottom. Sorry?
Why you always need to put add a div? Didn't say add any div.
They said create a large divider, right?
What is larger than div?
Remember the divider below serving size?
Yeah.
That big divider. Divider space LG line 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want you to put that at the end. Class div class equals divider space LG. This is the large divider, no Syed? This is the medium divider. Divider space MD. Yeah. This is the default divider.
Divider is not divider. Okay. Divider is a line.
Yeah.
It's an horizontal line.
Divider in our CSS is, what is it? Border bottom 1 pixel. It's a div which just has a border at the bottom. Okay. Margin of 2 pixels, clear right. That is why you just have a thin line. It's a div and just the border of the bottom.
I see. No.
You understood?
Yeah.
And now when you make divider space LG, you make with LG you make it 10 pixels. Okay. So that div becomes 10 pixels.
Yes.
Okay. And then you give it a background color of 0.
Okay.
That is how you are getting that, correct?
What's the class of paragraph?
It just says use the necessary classes to remove the bottom border.
But remove mean no divider, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what else?
Fine.
And to remove the bottom border and add a span to protein. Add a span to protein. Paragraph was no divider and protein should have a span. Close the span. And the span should have a class of, what is the class? Bold. Okay. Fine. Okay, I think that is what was expected. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Paragraph below, give the paragraph vitamin D this. Use a span to make the 10% right, but do not make it bold.
Do not make it bold, so we use only right.
Yeah.
Or we have another.
My laptop is hung. Create a create another paragraph element. Okay. Below your large divider, give the paragraph element the text vitamin D. This one.
Do we need to add a div or
Paragraph has this. I'm just seeing here. Use a span to make the 10%. I'll take the 10%, put a span. Okay. And then I'll give the span. No divs here, that's just a paragraph.
Okay.
Okay. Then use the span to make the 10% align to the right.
So class
equal to right.
Right.
Use the span to make it 10% right, but do not make it bold. Vitamin D to MCG and this to the right. Fine.
See, bro,
62.
It's not working.
What
I did
happened?
the same thing. Oh, no class for.
Yeah, no divide, no class for that. 1 minute. You haven't closed your span.
It's closed. Oh, yeah.
Because my font size is more and I have to scroll up. Now I'm just putting the thing here as a comment for me to make it easy to read. Fine. Create another paragraph element. Give it the text calcium 260 grams. Align 20% to the right. Below that, create a paragraph element with the text iron, this one, aligning it to the right. So we need a duplicate of vitamin D, 2 lines. Okay.
Yeah.
The first line should have calcium 260. Calcium 260 mc 260 milligrams and 10% should be 20%. And below that, create a paragraph element with the text iron 8 milligrams. Iron 8 milligrams 45%. Iron 8 milligrams. Instead of 10%, it is 45%. Okay.
Finish?
Yeah. Oh. No, Syed. Line 42, make a duplicate of it. It is the same line with different text. And now make the changes there. %20. %45. Create the final paragraph elements for your daily value section. Give it to the text potassium 235 milligrams 6%. Align the 6% text to the right and remove the border bottom of the paragraph element. Okay, this is again a long set of instructions. Just go down, paste it here, create the final paragraph element, create a paragraph element, open and close the paragraph.
How to do that comments?
Control and this slash, /. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paragraph element for your dot value section. Give it the text this. Align 6% to the right. Remove the border bottom of the. Okay. With the same as I think above Syed.
Okay. That's yeah. Here.
Potassium 235 milligrams.
6%. Yeah.
6% here. Is that right? Remove the bottom. Paragraph should have class equals no border.
No divider.
No divider. Okay. All good? Add a medium divider after your daily value element. Below the new divider, create a paragraph element with the class set to note. Give the paragraph the following text. I'm going to copy all of this. And now I need a medium divider.
So
Div class equal to
divider.
divider space LG.
Not LG, MD. Large or medium?
Medium, sorry. MD.
Below that, a new divider here.
Below that div, create a new paragraph element. Paragraph element with class equal to note. Close the paragraph. Paste the text. Okay. Paragraph is huge. You need to make that paragraph. We need to dot note, open the CSS and add font dash size 0.6 rem. Also set the top and bottom margins to 5 pixels, removing the left and right margins. Margin top and bottom to 5 pixel, rest of it 0. Okay, so the text is nice and small. Congratulations, your code passes. Style 66. How many are there? Oh, this is the last one side.
Is it?
Yeah. Give the dot note selector a left and right padding of 8 pixels. Padding left and right of 8 pixels. 0 and 8 pixels. Removing the top and bottom padding. Also set the text indent property to -8 pixels. Text dash indent colon -8 pixels. These last changes, your nutrition label is complete. Looks good. Nice.
Bro, do you know what I feel?
Did you get the quiz as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell.
Do you know what I feel? I feel this example, you can make it in a different way, easy way.
Yeah.
But they do this one in intention to show you
Different properties, yeah.
Exactly.
To expose you to different properties with the hope that you will spend the time to learn it.
Yeah.
Right. So I did not stress so much on the float thing because obviously we have flex, etc., etc. But if we did not have flex, then I would have made you understand it.
Float I used again for that coffee menu. On Friday when I replied, I will use that float. It's beautiful, bro.
Yeah, but you don't need the float, right?
I did. I used last time Flexbox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Display flex. Everything was in the place.
Correct.
But this time I will use the.
No, don't use float because now.
We don't need it.
People.
Don't.
Because float breaks the flow of things, right? Remember I showed you first paragraph, second paragraph, image, next 2 paragraphs, and when you do float, that flow broke, right? So as soon as you use...
Float's right, so it's go right.
Yeah, so instead of coming in that sequence, then the first paragraph came, second paragraph. Remember on the W3 schools we saw those float,
Yeah.
Right?
Do you want to stop your...
yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's okay. Fine.
Okay.
So remember in your float, this one, the W3 schools thing, dude.
Yeah.
This. No, not this. Clear, right? What did we do? CSS clear property, I think. Remember we put this, I put 2 paragraphs at the top.
Yeah.
And then whenever we did that float left or float right, then first 2 came, then the image came here, then the paragraphs came here or on the other side. So it sort of breaks the flow of things, right? So now people don't use floats unless it's like an emergency situation. It's not considered a good practice. Given that you have flex and whatnot to manage your alignment, it is not considered a good practice to use clear and float.
Floats.
Right. Let us say, see, it is funny enough that people make jokes of it.
I am backend developer.
What is a backend developer? It means he is afraid of CSS. No, I am not. Float left. Stop it, Patrick. You're scaring him. Right. Every time you use float, CSS float, God kills a kitten. Right. Time to use float. I just broke the whole site every time I deal with it in CSS. Right. Yo dog, I heard you like CSS, so we can put a div within a div so that you can modular float your own div within a div. Right. Positioning in CSS.
Text align, right?
Text align, right? Float right. Display flex. Justify content flex end. Position absolute right 0. This is again relative floating. You don't need to use the relative stuff. I think this level is more than enough.
More than enough.
Right. They're just pulling a leg, but this is like the absolute and relative positioning thing. No way to float right my input area and the right nav bar. Right. So it is funny enough to, why did Titanic die? Yeah, or whatnot. Float, bootstrap, float, absolute, and absolute was this.
Okay.
And so the idea is, when you have grid and flexbox and object fit, why do you need to learn all of this stuff?
Yeah.
Bootstrap is again like a framework, right, which gives you everything out of the box with its classes. So the idea is, when you already have these tools, when you didn't have like Flexbox, obviously it made a lot of sense for them to do that.
So grid, Flexbox, they are enough to...
Yeah, they are more than enough to deal with all of your stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
All good. Anyway, we will stop this episode, take a break, and we'll see whether we need to...
Let's do this quiz.
Yeah, that is the next activity. It is not a quiz. You are designing that page.
Okay.